namaste, good afternoon, and a very warm welcome to everyone joining us from across the globe. I am Dr. Vikash Agarwal, a professional chartered coach from UCF, and it is my absolute privilege to hold this space for you today. To our global community of coaches, change makers, and lifelong learners, it is an honor to be in your company. Welcome to Universal Awakening. We spend our days pouring our energy into helping others navigate change. But who holds the space for the coach? This is exactly why Universal Awakening exists. This is our shared laboratory to unpack new research, challenge our limitations, and elevate our craft. Our topic today is the coach standard deep listening mastery. We live in a world that is drowning in communication, yet starving for connection. Most of the time, we aren't listening to receive, we are listening to reply. True listening is not a communication skill, it is a ladder of human consciousness. At the basement, level 1 is purely biological hearing. Level 2 is hijacked by our ego. We listen only to react, defend, and win the argument. I'd like to share an ancient story by philosopher Zhuang Zhu. Imagine you are rowing a small boat across a misty lake. Suddenly, another boat slams into yours. You immediately get angry. You stand up to yell at the person steering. But as the mist clears, you see the other boat is completely empty. It is just drifted into you. Instantly, your anger vanishes. When we are trapped on level 2, our ego makes us fight every boat as if someone is attacking us. Deep listening allows us to see that most people aren't attacking us. They are just drifting in their own pain. When you see the empty boat, the anger disappears. When we step up to level 3, we genuinely try to understand, but we are still trapped in our intellect, trying to fix the person. The true transformation begins at level 4, where we become a deeply safe emotional anchor. And at the pinnacle of level 5, we become the pure witness, a silent, clear mirror that allows the speaker to see their own truth. The next time you feel that urgent, burning desire to interrupt someone, I want you to hit the pause button and ask yourself a simple acronym: WAIT, WAIT. Why am I talking? Stop listening to reply, start listening to receive. To lead this critical session and shift our paradigm, we have a brilliant keynote presenter, Shri Amit Trehan. And supporting him will be distinguished panelists Sri Samba Sivan, CFO Tata Play, and Arun Kumar, an independent consultant. And of course, you all know Dr. D, founder of UCF. He needs no introduction. So please give a warm welcome to Sri Amit, Samba Sivan, Arun, and Dr. D. Sri Amit Rehan is an UCF Master Chartered Coach and co-founder of Negentropy AI. With over 20 years of leadership experience in digital transformation, AI, and automation, Amit spends his days helping enterprises bring order to chaos. But what makes his perspective so vital is his core philosophy. True transformation is never just about technology. It is about alignment between people and purpose. Keep keeping the growth deeply human at its core. I invite you now to settle in, silence your phones, close your tabs, and give yourself the gift of presence. Amit, the virtual stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vikas. And thanks everyone for joining this afternoon on Sunday, taking time out. And I'll make it sure that in next 20-25 minutes, you are able to take away some of these things, which is going to be deeply foundationally, alter some of these things that you can take away and practice in your coaching as well as in your personal and professional life. So if I have a permission, I'll just share my presentation.
Yes, please.
Sure. Let me know if it is up and
Yes, it is visible.
perfect. I think let's start going with this. So I I intend to carry on this session, this small preamble for everybody. While we have been given a lot of coaching on different frameworks by Dr. D in how we should really practice listening and what are the different stages, as Dr. Vikas have also touched it through. But I just want to reflect on one thing very clearly is listening to others versus listening to yourself. Have we ever had a courage to listen to our own thoughts, spend time with those devils in our mind, playing these different emotions, or if I would say different narratives of incident that has happened, incident that has not happened, or in future, or creating different vision of what has happened in past, and sometime we have a courage to deal with them, but most of the time we just brush it away. And as a coach, I think that's very foundational for us uh, to look at that central part of how do we deal with our own thoughts, and that's an active listening to your own self before you actually become present when you're helping your coachee. So I'm going to bring about three stories, which are not a corporate one, a very personal, deep, reflective story, so that we can take away some of these uh, action points on listening back home and should be able to practice right away without much, sort of change in our framework that we have learned it through. So it's foundationally built on top of that. So I'll just move away with this preamble to the first story. I'd just like to put down this Calvin Hobbes while you can read and just enjoy the story between Hobbes, which it's self-narrative. But let me give you a background to where I'm going to start off. And it's a very messy thing on Sunday to talk about. And I think most of you would have also come out these narratives in your immediate friends. A very close friend of mine is going through an extramarital relationship. It is present active part, so he is through that pain. Uh, it's very messy. It's very complicated for him, uh, and it's not something that he is proud of, but not something that he can do away with either. So it's just been too long. Uh, Emotional support while the other person knows that he is married, still it happens. And one evening, I met him, and I thought to have a conversation to understand what's happening, how is it all going, and what basically troubling him. He was very honest to me, it seems, and he have used the right sort of thing to really express that I really care about her, the extramarital affair that he has. He also said that I feel very alive with her. There's a lot of things that I could not have done, or I think these emotions have been locked somewhere. I'm able to relive those emotions, and I've never felt like this understood. Uh, and at the same breath, yeah, he took some pause and also talked about the central part is, uh, you know, that I can't hurt my family. I can't be away from my family. My kid means everything for me. I would never do anything to break my family and to protect the way it is. While to the untrained sort of mind, it looks like he's confused. It also looks like he's indecisive, or there is a lack of sort of uh, clarity at his end. And I also felt that that's something that comes very obvious when we listen to these sort of stories. But I think if we deeply reflect and understand, then the tension is between these two narratives. The tension is not between, he's indecisive. These are two separate emotions that he's been torn apart, and he doesn't know how to handle these two together. Uh, so instead of asking, and I think to put down a question that what do you want, and how would you uh, choose and make these choices when you've obviously figured out that these are the two paradigms that you're going to work with. uh, I just simply left it with that is to really say that, can it can you say both of these things together? Can you say whatever that you have said before, that I really feel present with her, I really care about her, and then at the same breath say, that I can't hurt my family. Of course, it sounds very confusing that what do you exactly mean? So then I said, just say it like this, that I love what I feel with her, and at the same time, I don't want to break my family. Just say these two sentences together in the same breath, uh, and I think once he start repeating these sentences just once or twice with two different things, he could really find the confusion which is arising within him. And I think the answers also, to be very clear, emerges out of him without anybody else suggesting what to be done rightly in this case. Uh, and I think that's that's to my mind is is a very profound sort of way to really look at the truth of a story. And I think the takeaway that if you have to bring your coachee in contact with reality, then I think sounding and looking at nursing the story as to what somebody is talking, and working with that is a takeaway I'm just going to bring on the screen. uh, so this is, the words are edited, the truth leaks through. The real conversation is never in the words. So as a trainers, coaches, whatever that we role that we are playing, I think the important part is to move away from the words that we are hearing, and listen to the tension in between these words and narratives which is also coming out. And I think the takeaway which I have to put, that if you listen to the language, you will coach the story. There will be no real progress, and we will be wondering why we are just circumventing and just in and around that uh, part of not being able to solve, not being able to make the progress. That's the first one. I'll begin very quickly with the second story as well. Again, with again another Calvin and Hobbes. Just have a look, and while you are reading through why the two characters are talking through. This is about my friend Dheeraj. He's my school friend. We've been knowing each other for more than about 3 decades now. He's been married for 19 years. He has a daughter, and she has just given her 12th exam. Her wife mostly is falling ill, and battling with some sort of depression, and he also has the corporate tension which most of the professional has, the push and pull which happens while you're working. All this is leading to, and I am aware about the issues which is happening in his life for some time. And I happen to really go to his house and have these conversations multiple times, but it has not really resulted in anything that has come out. So I basically asked them out that let's go sit some somewhere else, some park, some coffee shop nearby, not at home, not at your place, not at my place, somewhere where we could really be ourselves and have a conversation, not on Zoom, not on telephone, nothing of the sort, just face to face, to friends sitting and having this conversation. Uh, and you know, I asked them, the two things that I want to set up as a context. I worked in corporate, and I think corporate has this narrative that if you ask a better question, you will get a better response. And I think there's been tons of things that been trained on to put a proactive question, to put an open-ended question, and make that sort of inquiry. And I was also foundationally believing that this is how you would, if you have to make somebody open up to say something, this is how you should really work those narratives up. And then I basically started having these conversations at multiple times, not yielding any outcome. And this is, I to put this belief behind and then get to a point of really making him open was a big task for me. uh, and while this is happening one evening, when as I said, we sat around, and uh, I was about to ask these questions, that what's going on, what's really bothering you, uh, how you're dealing with these home and office sort of tension which is working. And I asked these questions, and he gave me absolutely perfect responses to these, which is as you expect, so people in corporate world are ready to shield off and give these sort of responses. And while these responses came, I was again wondering that why I'm asking this and nothing has happened. Why for this nth number of time I'm not able to have him open. And we just sat because it was not home. There was no compulsion of anybody else coming in. We sat in absolute silence for maybe about next minute and a half, not saying a word, not really doing anything, not really expecting any outcome. And then he said, I don't think so you will be able to understand. And I think that stayed with me. And I think that was the door which I was waiting for it to open up so that I can begin my conversation with him. And thereon, the issues which was with work, with family, and of course, a lot of other layers came in. But that sharing part happened from there on. The part of really explaining what really troubling him started happening from there on. And that's my second takeaway is that most people are not speaking to be understood. We need to know the motivation of why somebody is speaking. They are speaking to feel safe. The prime motivation to speak and to share in the sessions where we are is to make them feel safe. And I think that's more priority over anything else. And that's my takeaway for that. Nobody, your coachee would never open up to intelligence. They will only open up to the safety. The more safe you can make them, the more sort of compassion that you have when they are saying something. And these are really the devil in your mind, which is really training you and coaching you to say something very intelligent, to be of use. And more we think that we need to be of use, I think we are drifting away from solving what we need to solve, which is the actual problem our coachee has. So that's my second takeaway with this beautiful story, and very personal one, which always stays with me. I go to my third and last story, long one, but I think just look at the last two snippets that would nail the point home as to what they have to really convey in this span. And this is personal, this is of course a story with every household, and this has happened with me and my wife as well. And I think most oftenly we would also see that I don't feel heard. When I talk to you, I don't feel heard. While you're And this is not your wife alone. I'm sure when you're working in corporate, you have a large team. Some of these team members who are really coming up and who are performing well also come up with this, that I don't feel that I don't feel heard. While I have a viewpoint, I don't feel heard. And as a coach, I did not used to give before getting coach. I did not used to give a lot of importance to such thing, that I don't feel heard. And so what, if you have to say something, you would say something. That was my attitude. But I think after the coaching, and being MCC, and working with the other members team and my house as well, I figured out it's not the way that it's a profoundly reflecting question as a coach, that why am I not able to, after having being so good in coaching, I apparently feel that I'm good, but why somebody would come and say this thing that I don't feel heard when I talk to you. That the few things that goes on in my mind at that point is that this is not true. you know this is what I'm trained on now. And the last emotion that can let me explain, so these are subsequent thoughts which really generates in your mind. First you negate, then you say there is something, and then you try to explain this a lot by saying that let me explain. And moment you are on that paradigm, it also reflects very clearly that it's not about what I'm going to say. It is about my own ego, my own sort of perception about myself, which I'm holding, which I need to bring out on the table, is also making me not accepting this fact that there is something missing, where either my professional life or my personal life, my colleagues or my wife in this case, is not feeling heard. Uh, and And I think on one such day, I just happened to remain silent, not just say anything, not just uh, trying to cover up with my mind. I'm looking at all these emotions as they are going on in my mind, and I became absolutely still to really observe as to what is happening, and all these thoughts which is going on in my mind. I was just start observing it. While I'm doing it, I'm looking at the person, which is my wife, to say why don't I feel heard, and I just stopped the urge to respond in any way. And then she concluded uh, that that you already forming an answer is a deeply reflective part which stays with me, and I realize that's the truth. Because moment somebody is trying to say something, I already have an answer in my mind, or I am in the process of forming that answer in my mind, which I think that I should be given moment that question stops. Yeah, I have an urge to not really listen to the person, but to that part of really saying something which becomes important. So what is the takeaway in this case, as as the story get concluded, is let me just bring in that your depth of listening is inversely proportional to your need to be useful. You think for your team, when I'm in corporate, when I was handling large team, or with my spouse, my wife, I feel that I need to be useful. That is the purpose that I drive, whether I am a trainer, whether I am a husband, whether I am a manager who's managing team. I feel that there is need to be useful is a prime driver for me to really not look at what is being said to the point I'm making it all about myself. And I think that's the part which is the takeaway, that use these silences in your, and these silences not in your in the conversation of your coachee. This is in your mind. Use that silence your mind, control your mind. This silence is the door. If you are silent, it's not a gap to be filled. If there is a silence in conversation, it is not a gap to be filled. Don't have a urge to fill that gap. Just stay with that silence, and then you would see the door of actual transformation, actual sharing will happen. Because unless a person shares what he or she is deeply believe, you would not be able to do any sort of progress beside whatever sort of thoughts caliber that you have. It will not get uh, result into the transformation of your coaches. So that's my three stories. That's my three takeaways. That you don't trust words, trust what leaks through those words. Believe in that, look for that, and stay with that. Don't try to be sounding more intelligent. Don't push your insight. Just build safety first. Just build the safety net. Like you drive your car, you put your safety belt and then drive. Just do that very clearly. And do not fill silence. Walk through it. Be silent. Silence in your mind. Silence when your coach is silent. Work with that. Take that forward, and you would see a beautiful outcome coming in all your coaching session with your coaches. So that was me. Thank you so much. I would stop sharing my screen, and any questions, Dr. Vikas, I'm not sure with the flow, if right now or later, how the team wants it to be.
Yeah, I think Amit, we can take the questions in the question and answer sessions.
Sure.
And with this, I would like to urge with all the participants to please ask your questions and put them in the chat box. We will take each and every questions, and our expert panelist and the presenter will answer them. So again, thank you, Amit. That was incredibly powerful. You reminded us that silence is not an empty gap to be filled, but a door to walk through. That was very powerful, and I hope everyone will take this key takeaway with them, and will this will help them in their coaching journey and in their lives too. So now we are going to translate this mastery into action with our expert panel. First, it is my distinct honor to welcome Sri Samba Sivan. He is the CFO at Tata Play Limited, navigating the intense demands of the corporate world at the highest level. but he is also a master chartered coach with UCF, an author, and a podcaster who dives deep into ancient Sanskrit and Tamil literature. So please welcome Samba Sivan, sir. And sir, your stage is yours.
So Vikash, thank you very much. And Amit, thanks for the spellbinding kind of three messages. So I really was taking notes from you, even though we had heard the story earlier, but still hearing it now once again was a phenomenal experience. So what I am going to talk is to build on what both Dr. Vikash and Amit have spoken about. So one lesson which I have learned over a period of time, because I think about 40 years of corporate experience. I've been working since 1984. So I'm a chartered accountant of 87. So I've been in the corporate field for more than 40 years. So it's good and bad in the sense that you have seen the entire, what you can say, generation of, what you can say, listening and talking and listening and talking over a long period of time. I can tell you one thing that in the last 2 years, after I have started learning from Dr. D, my speaking has relatively come down in the organization, which actually means that there are more people coming and talking to me rather than me going and talking to them. So that is one I could see some difference in the approach. Earlier, what I used to do is that I used to be kind of talking to people saying that, have you done this? Have you done that? I was not exactly listening. I was telling people what to do. So I thought that was my role. But what I now realize after Dr. D's listening and ladder experience, you can be even much more productive, not by just telling, but by listening to people. So this is it's a, what you can say, it's a contra-intuitive kind of an output. And but this I can tell you is a reality. And I've also now found that more people are coming and asking me for advice, how to do things, rather than me going. And earlier I was thinking that I should be telling them what to do, I should be coaching them, I should be getting ready for succession planning, I should develop leaders. So everything I was putting into myself. So now what has happened, it's become the other way around. So now people are coming to me, and the other important, this is one. Second important lesson which I have learned is that you have to really slow down. When you are listening, you have to be more patient, right? So earlier, what I used to do was when I used to have a conversation on a one-on-one basis, I used to have a calendar saying that, okay, this is the next half an hour, we are going to have this meeting. Particularly on one-on-one meetings, I have now stopped putting a calendar saying that आपको जितना बात करना है बात कर लो मतलब. So basically I have said that you have to, like what Amit said, right, you need to have that safety net. So you need people to open up, and opening up is not an immediate event. Sometimes in one meeting it will not happen, two meetings it may not happen, three meetings it may not happen. I've already seen it in one of the coaches where I have experienced. In fact, this is again a very interesting incident. I do not know how this person wanted me to become the coach, but he somehow felt that based on my body language, he's a close friend of mine. I have known him for the last 30, 40 years. But still, he felt that I could listen to his story and I could kind of provide him some kind of a solution. So then when I heard his story, I said, okay, let's continue. Let's start our session, and which is going on now. I think for the last 4 or 5 months, I am doing a session every week, half an hour session I'm doing with this gentleman, and he is enjoying it. And mostly, I would say 85% of the time, the other person talks. And I speak maybe 15% of the time. So two things I'm saying. One is don't rush when you are listening. Number two is that, like what Amit said, you have to be silent. It's very interesting to note that silent and listen are the anagrams of each other. And if you have to listen, you have to be silent. So these are the two, I would say, experiences I would like to share. And with that, I will stop, and I can come back during question answer session. Thank you.
Thank you, Samba sir. And now we would like to welcome Shri Arun Kumar As an independent coach and mentor, Arun works directly in the trenches of human development. Arun, the stage is
Thank you,
yours.
Dr. Vikash,
Yeah.
and the panel here. It was really great. Amit, I think, has opened up a lot of areas that are important as a coach for us. And I would like to steal Dr. D's words here. You listen to understand to transform. The entire transformation journey starts only when you start listening. And what usually happens over a period of our journey life is that we tend to create these biases and love and hate for different kind of people with different kind of mannerisms and behaviors. We tend to kind of relate people with a particular mannerism to somebody from the past and somebody we've seen with whom we have not had very good interaction, and we start building those biases while we are talking to them, when we are having those interactions with them. And my key learning has been that in all these interactions, how are we as coaches removing those biases, removing those filters, uh, creating what Amit and Mr. Sambasivam said, the safety zone or the safe net for the other person to come and open up to us or seek some kind of a support. It's not always about kind of responding with something intellectual, which again Mr. Amit has covered. And it is not about always giving a solution. It is sometimes just to sit down and let them pour out, because it is going to, just like us, we coaches, we are also humans. We have certain biases. People come with stronger bias. We at least are in a position where we can understand and consciously try to break those biases. But with a lot of people, that is something that is very difficult, and for them to come out of their own biases, it is going to take some time. And therefore, as coaches, is very important that you come to a point where you are not trying to solve a problem, you're not trying to give any intellectual advice, but just listen. And there are different phases. This is just theoretical. You listen with curiosity, you listen to understand, you listen to transform, right? So first, instead of hearing, you go into a listen mode. Then you understand, you are curious to know more about this individual, the coachee. You understand the issue, and then is when the transformation journey starts. So there are multiple stages in terms of listening. And what listening does is a very beautiful thing. When you listen to a nice music, you get hooked onto it. It sometimes is your stimulation. It sometimes gives you, some people have one of the best music they have heard as their alarm. Why? Because when they wake up, they want to wake up with some kind of an energy. And it is all about exchange of energies. What a coach and a coachee are doing are basically exchanging energies. And how can you neutralize and convert that energy to positive energy is something that we need to learn. And therefore, it has a very deep neural science to it. People tend to know when you are just hearing and when you are actually listening to them. And that's the point, I think, in Amit's story, when he said that he and his friends 30 years were taking some time to break, or come to that safety zone where he was open enough to start discussing, is the point where the neural science really came into play. And that is when I think that individual understood that the wavelengths have matched, and this person is here maybe not to solve my problem, but at least to give a deep listening to what I am trying to tell him. And that's because that's the beauty. That's because he was not trying to give a solution, or he's not trying to be intellectual in saying that you can try this, or maybe you should do this, do that. So that's exactly what happens. And it takes bit of practice. but start at home. You can start listening to your parents over a period of time. The best relationship that we've had, or the best connection to our past, is our parents and our siblings. And when we there is a moment in the entire hustle culture that we are in, that we've only been hearing them and not literally listening. So sit down with your mom when she's cutting vegetables, or sit down with your dad when he's reading his newspaper and having his coffee, and just listen to what he wants to say. Just let that silence soak in. Just keep observing what is, and that's the best way to practice. And then you will understand that there are meaning to there are meaning in between words. There are meaning in between sentences. You'll start reading those, and that's probably the beauty of being a very good coach. And I think with this small insight, I would like to give the stage back to Vikas and Mr. Amit for their inputs. Thank you.
Thank you, Arun, for those lovely words. And with that, we would like to move to the question and answer session. But before that, we would like to hear from Dr. D, because he is the founder and the creator of the ladder framework. So whatever we are speaking today has come from him only. So we are eagerly waiting for you, sir, to say few words on the topic today.
Thank you, Vikas. I think a wonderful story, Amit, and very impressive and very good. And Samba and Arun, whatever he has shared. So if you try to go into the detail of the story, what Amit shared and what Samba and Arun also has talked about, two things I picked it, the two words I picked it. One, the first word is trust, and the second word, respect. So what happens when you listen to somebody, listen to understand to transform, my favorite word. So when you listen to understand to transform somebody, you are showing trust. Yes, you can be vulnerable. I'm not going to here judge you. I'm not going to here prove you that you are right, you are wrong, you are good, you are bad. No. So when you listen, automatically that trust builds up. And the person starts sharing each and everything, knowing that ki samne wala is not going to judge me. And when you listen to the person, the second thing happens, he starts feeling respected. Because as I keep on saying, nobody listens to anybody. The highly searched word in Google, you can say, is the loneliness and emptiness in the world. Nobody listens to anybody. That's why everybody feels loneliness and emptiness in their life. So the second thing, what happens when you listen to them or listen to anybody, they feel respected. And these are the two things are very important to transform people, whoever it is, as a coach, as a father, as a spouse, as a friend, as a family, as a relative, whatever role you are playing, doesn't matter. If you are start listening to the people, you are building the trust and you are respecting the person, and the person will start saying each and everything because he or she knows that you are not judging, you are not proving him right or wrong. You are ready to listen to him. And then I say always, 30% of the transformation happens just by listening. 1/3 of the transformation happens through that listening process only. Because when we as a coach, we start coaching people, building the trust is very important. Coaching is not just a training or just a speech you have given and then you are get rid of. No, you have to engage with the people. So how you are going to engage with the people unless you are going to build up the trust? So when you listen to understand to transform, people start building trust on you. And when people start trusting you, they start opening it up. They start talking to you. And then they start engaging with you. And once they start engaging with you, then they start communicating with you. So communication always happens at the fourth stage. And then listening and sharing happens. So as a coach, as any role, when you are able to transform people, you need to start with the listening. And that's why it is such a wonderful and powerful tool it is. Several times I have said in my sessions also, listening is so powerful. In our ancient Indian Vedic philosophy, there is a term called Srota Pan. I love this word. It says that your listening can get you enlightened. There are so many stories are there, especially in the Buddhist philosophy, where they say that so and so person, while listening to Buddha, get enlightened. And they use the word called श्रोतापन्न. सुनते सुनते उन्होंने मोक्ष की प्राप्ति और इनलाइटनमेंट की प्राप्ति, निर्वाण की प्राप्ति उन्होंने की. So listening is so important. If we can able to transform not only ourselves, but we can able to transform the people we are listening, and we are able to experience that kind of moksha, that kind of nirvana, or that kind of bliss in our life. That's all I wanted to just share it here. Again, thank you for all you have presented. And I think we should be able to take questions if anything is available that we can able to answer it.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Vikas.
We have questions from the audience, and the first questions which we have received is for Amit and regarding his presentation. So, Amit, would you like to take those questions?
Sure,
Mhm.
please.
Yeah, so they are the questions. I'll be clubbing one or two questions.
Sure.
Like one of the audience wants to understand that in the second story, how did you build trust that you can understand? And what is one thing that helps you silence your mind?
Beautiful question. I would put it very clearly. I would first break it down, this process of this complexity of listening, So the the listening will not happen unless somebody speaks. Now, what is speaking? We've never really questioned that part. And what precede before speaking? So people think there are a lot of thoughts which is going on in mind, which is filtered through the speaking part. So speaking, when somebody is speaking to you, is the first edited version of thoughts. And people, when they speak something, will edit a lot thing in their mind which they are thinking in the context to which they are going to share it with you. Thinking is not a linear process, it's a layered process. It's a multiple thing which an individual go through. And if you understand that human design, you would also understand that stuff that is being actually spoken has lot of these variations which is going on in people's mind. And your job as a coach is to connect these layers, not for yourself, for that person to have that courage to layer these different thoughts layer in his mind and have the courage to accept and speak it out. That's the part of where your listening will happen, and I think that's where your silence will come in play. When you are practicing silence, you will have to have an observation within you. I practice few things. I practice either focus on my breath, which is what I have learned during my course in Vipassana. I have been practicing Vipassana for 22 years. So that has helped me to calm my mind, to see in such situation, how do I become more present? How do I really kill my own thoughts or control my thoughts or let them not come in between of me with the urge to say something rather than somebody having the courage to these different layers of thought and speak it out. I am only trying, I'm a vessel which is going to really make a person talk about some of these things, whether good, bad, ugly, without me judging, without these layers which is going on in mind and come out and bring it out. That's the job. I'm not sure how have I answered it or not, but that's a part, and that comes with the practice, that comes with understanding a lot of these conversations which you carry out on day-to-day basis, and try and understand what are different thought processes, how they are layered, where and to what level it is edited in this conversation with you. If you are more observant for that fact, day in day out, not just with Kochi, day in day out, you would try and sense it as how edited version that you are hearing, which is coming out of the mouth of whosoever is talking to you. And it depends on your role, whether you're a manager, whether you're a spouse, whether you're a friend, whether you are somebody else. It depends on that context. The editorial part of the thought will happen according to that. So you need to really know how my relationship is and to what extent I'll be able to understand the thing which is coming out. So that's a part. Moment you have that control, you build trust, you help him connect something, you make him take away something without you adding that sort of value, is the biggest, I would say, win in such story, to establish trust right up front in listening session and taking forward.
Yeah, thank you, Amit. I think regarding your conclusion slide, there is one question. I'd like to club two questions and maybe you can answer them. Like one of the audience has asked, what do you mean by with trust leak in your conclusion slide? And another example you gave that people feel they are not heard. So, in a word, they are expecting a viewpoint which is not spoken. And in other words, they are not getting the response they expect. So, how do you tackle such situation?
The two thing, I take the second question first. So when you say that there is certain response which other person is expecting, if it has not come out from the other person directly and you're inferring it, then you are really calling something before it has happened, and that would killing the story. So that would make that listening sharing part actually pause at that moment. So you should not do it. The part, but if a coachee has to share something with you, you have to only make that sort of part available where he is able to throw it out. This is what he has to share. This is the expectation. This is the problem. And then you would know what you have to share. You don't have to create a vision. And I think that's where moment we try to solve a problem which is not there and leave the problem which needs to be solved, create a lot of confusion. And I think that's where this vision and all part, I don't have any vision. I don't have any viewpoint. My viewpoint is in all such session is reflective upon what is it that the other person has to say and to what extent I am able to bring it out. Till the point I am comfortable, I will keep on in that listening mode, whether it is 2 session, 3 session, 4 session, 5 session, it doesn't matter, because that's a foundation for him to trust me and take it forward, rather than what I have to say. I have to say nothing. There's nothing that I have to say. I have to only extract, have these connections, as I've said, make it very clear in his mind, and that's what I believe. Uh, on the conclusion slide, the question, it is, don't trust the word, trust what leaks. So there is a leaking of body language. There's leaking of small pauses, interjection, glances here and there, not focusing at you, or maybe focusing at you, or may not be saying something, or may be fidgety. There are multiple things which is happening with the body and thoughts, the pauses that it's been. Those are the things that you should, these are the leaks. These are the leaks that you don't even pay attention to, and you would not be able to pay attention if you're playing with thoughts and devils in your own mind. So you have to pause it to reflect and see all this, and really make it a point of silence, and where you take pauses, where do you silence yourself, so that the other person also understand that I am doing all this, uh, and just become a bit conscious about the thoughts and body. And then I think that's where it pushes those layers which is in mind not coming out to fuse together, and then it forms as a word and come out. So it's not a magician thing, and I think in the old parlance you would see many people are able to read people's thought, and people used to say कि ये कोई अध्यात्म की कोई जर्नी है क्या आदमी कर लिया, नहीं, they were fundamentally present in their mind and their own body to such a level that they could read from your body language as to what is really going on with you, what is it that you have to say, and bring in those words out, and then you would feel how he can read my thoughts. It's not about reading thoughts. He's actually been so present that he can see and feel every blink of your eye, your glance, your body, whatever that is happening, and he's able to bring these thoughts out. That's present. That's what I think we all should practice in such sessions and take it forward.
Thank you, Amit, for clarifying all those doubts. I hope the person who has answered the question would be satisfied. And moving on to the next question, audience has asked that is there a concept of listening to the environment or surroundings? So, who would like to take that question? Maybe Samba sir, you can.
Yeah. So it's a very, very interesting and very nice point. In fact, I was just thinking, when do I listen to the environment? For example, I have this habit of going in for walks in the morning. So then at that point in time, what happens is that you have to be aware of what's happening around you, right? So in terms of some sound, noise. See, there is something signal and there is noise. One is listening to the environment. I see if I take a literal word of it and if I take a figurative word of it. Right now, I'll start with the literal meaning of environment as to beyond the person who you are talking to, there is a surrounding. So if I were to look at it, okay, you need to have a surrounding which is amenable for listening, first of all. For example, if you are in a very noisy environment and you are talking to a person, it is very difficult to understand the signal, understand the noise, because there will be body language which will be coming in, there will be voice modulation which will be coming in. And particularly when the conversation happens through, say, virtual means, because many of the coaching sessions happen through virtual means, right? So in that case, how does one listen properly when you are having a listening session happening through virtual means? So that requires a complete, because you are only seeing up to this portion. You are not seeing the environment. You are not seeing anything. You are only seeing the chest up of the person. Then where is the question of environment? So environment is something when you have a face-to-face listening, then the environment picture comes in, whether you are having a memorable, like for example, in my office environment, I have a kind of a one-to-one meeting with all my subordinates and non-subordinates also once every year. So I have a half an hour conversation. So that I make sure that it is in a room where it is completely relaxed. It's not as if that people can come and disturb me all the time. So that way, that one-on-one conversation happens with a kind of a silence around. So these are the two ways of looking. One is environment per se. One has to listen to the environment, what is happening. But when you look at it figuratively, we have to make sure that the environment as a coachee, when it happens through virtual means, it's very difficult to control the environment. For example, when you're having a virtual session and the power goes off, then you have to start the conversation all over again, right? Then your listening has stopped in between. So it means that you have to come back to the reality again. So there are many things which can disturb the environment, can disturb you while you are listening. This is what I have interpreted as the question. I don't know whether my interpretation is right or wrong.
No,
Thank
sir,
you.
you have perfectly put down the environment and you have given your office example. That was spot on. And next, we'll move to the next question. What to do when a person keeps repeating the same thing every time? So, Arun, would you like to take this question?
Yes. So if I understand this question right, what if the person keeps repeating the same thing every time? So what? You are listening. So listen. Why is this person repeating it again and again? What exactly are the cues? What exactly is the message that the person wants to convey to you? Maybe the person has still not built that trust. Maybe the person does not feel safe. Maybe the person thinks that you don't understand what they are trying to convey. The message, the key message, the core of the entire conversation is still not being understood, and therefore the person is repeating. So listen, that is the difference that we are trying to tell you, that there is a difference between hearing and listening. And this is exactly what you should be curious, you should try to understand, and only then will the transformation journey start. Listen to understand to transform. So if the person is repeating a message or is repeating the same thing, try to put yourself, be a little empathetic, create that neural connection, build that trust. It is a long process. We can never define saying that in 5 coaching sessions I will make you from here, I will take you from point A to point B. No, that does not happen. So let's be conscious about why we are here as coaches, and let's build what we can do as coaches is only build an environment which is safe and build the trust with the coachee. The moment you have that, then maybe you will be able to understand what exactly is the core message that the person is trying to deliver. So there's nothing wrong in repeating. You will have to look at multiple perspectives. By being curious, you are questioning the other aspects of why this person is repeating the same thing, and therefore, over a period of time, you will be able to help them, support them in their transformation journey. That is when the dismantling will happen. That is when the doing will happen. That is when experiencing will happen, and then you will see the results. So don't forget the ladder framework. You have to listen. That's the core. That's the core. And we are breaking down listening into multiple aspects. We're breaking down to understand how well can we do that. And silence sometimes is a tool. There is a very, very, very strong tool. And I think you just need to stay silent, go back, maybe introspect, try and see what are the different cues, body language, what is their eyes talking, what is their movements talking, are they getting too fidgety, are they building a story? You will be able to see that very clearly. If somebody is trying to just give you a story which is in their mind and which is not the reality, you will be able to make it out if you are there, if you are present in that entire listening mode, right? So that's my humble take on what you should do if somebody is continuously repeating themselves.
Thank you, Arun. You have completely dismantled the question. And now I would like to request Dr. D to answer a question. I'll be merging 2 to 3 things at once, and the intellect of Dr. D only can handle that question, I think. So the question is, sir, that we spend our entire day on Zoom calls, fixing problems and answering emails. We are constantly communicating. Yet at the end of the day, so many of us log off feeling completely alone. Means they're talking about feeling alone, but they are surrounded by so much of noise and constant communication emails. So why does a world full of talking leave us feeling so unheard? And also with that silence is supposed to be peaceful. But in a tense meeting or in a difficult conversation at home, silence feels terrifying. We rush to fill in the words. So why we are so afraid of sitting quietly with another person? Why we are running from when we refuse to stop talking? And also related, another layer has been added, that in our offices, we wear the mask. We are trained to say, I'm fine, or I can handle this project. And even when we are completely overwhelmed inside. So when someone is smiling on the outside, but breaking on in the inside, how do we listen to the part of them that isn't fine? So I hope the question is clear, sir, or do you want me to repeat?
No, it's fine. I think I will be able to give you answer on this. See, when we talk about listening, I talk about mind level listening, body level listening, and then soul level listening. And what Amit was saying, the silence, that we talk about our soul level listening, mindfulness. And there are many ways of getting mindfulness. Whichever you are comfortable, you can practice that. So unless there is a silence inside, you cannot experience the silent outside. That is the very key aspects of listening for all of us. We are into all transformation journey, but in order to bring that peace, the silence around us in our environment or in our world, we need to experience the silent inside us. And that's why when you are pro in your listening, you have to be getting into your mindfulness practices also, and that is going to give you the capability. So when you are able to listen to your oneself, Externally, you are listening to the people. Just say the example you have given, you are into a work culture, you are into office, you are doing the Zoom calls. These are your day-to-day activity, you are managing it. That is the responsibility you have been assigned, which you are able to take care of, and taking care of that responsibility as a senior, as a subordinate, as an employer, as an employee, as a wife, as a husband, as a father, as a mother. In different roles, we play different roles. But there is something inside you which is always in silence. There is always something in you which is always Sakshi Bhav. So you are always doing, you are playing the game, but you are not in the game. You are playing the game, people are playing the game, you are part of the plane, but you are not in the game, nowhere in the game. Game is happening through you. You are witnessing the game, you are witnessing the communication, you are witnessing the discussions, you are witnessing the work happening. Somebody is angry, somebody is disangry, somebody is good, somebody is bad, right, somebody is wrong. Various activities are happening. And why various activities are happening? Because every people are having different personalities, and every people are having the different levels of consciousness. So although peoples are transformed, not transformed, but the level of consciousness and level of transformation and levels of intellectualities are different at the different people's level. So each and every person is operating from their own wavelength, their own level of transformation, their own level of being. So if it has not to impact you, and you should not be getting exhausted with this external environment, you have to use your oneself. और हमारे लिए हमारे वेद में एक बहुत अच्छा इंडियन विजडम में एक वर्ड यूज किया गया है जिसको हम बोलते हैं स्थिति प्रज्ञ. बड़ा ब्यूटीफुल सेंटेंस है जिसको स्टेट को हम स्थिति प्रज्ञ बोलते हैं. तो आपकी प्रज्ञा जहां स्थिर हो जाती है, प्रज्ञा is a higher level of wisdom. When your pragya is become static, then you call sthiti pragya. And that state you become, you are not becoming, you are being. So listening is, you are not listening. Listening is happening through you. You are no more trying to listen. You are no more trying to act. Your being presence start allowing to listen and share and talk and discuss. And it is not going to impact. You are like becoming like a mirror. People are coming, seeing their face and going out of you. Again, new person comes, they see their face, they can go out of there. And there is no picture stored in the mirror. You are sthit pragya. Of course, mirror doesn't have a pragya, but I have to give them an example, that is the example I will give it to you. So you become like a mirror. Oh, uske liye kya chahiye na? Silence inside. And the third thing which I would like to say, the biggest संवाद is the मौन संवाद ना. अब बोलो कि वो बहुत लोग नहीं समझ पाते, बट आप लोग समझते हो इसलिए मैं इस चीज को बोल रहा हूं. Because we keep on talking all these things. The highest level of communication is called the communication which you do without talking. जहां पे वेवलेंथ मैच होती है ना, यू सी अपना जो एप्पल के फोन से दूसरे फोन में आप डाटा ट्रांसफर कर देते हो, एक दूसरे को हटाओ डाटा ट्रांसफर हो जाती है. दैट इज द वे इट हैपेंस. जब दो आदमी का वेवलेंथ हो जाता है सेम लेवल ना, तो वहां पे बात करने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती. एक दूसरे को नजदीक लेके आओ, वो डाटा एक दूसरे में चला जाता है. So that is we called the level of consciousness people they reach, and then you don't require to talk, and that is called the Maun Sambad. And that is the highest level of Sambad, that is the highest level of communication, that is the highest level of listening and sharing. You can do it, which is happened in silence. And that can happen, but wahan start karna padega soul level listening. You listen to yourself. You should get inside. कैसे करोगे? That is the various methodologies are practiced, whether various techniques are practiced. In India, we are very rich into all kind of dhyan. Any kind of dhyan you wanted to have, there are thousands of the dhyans, mudras are there and practices are there. Which is comfortable for you, you do it. That silence is very important. And then it is not going to impact you because you are operating from being, not becoming. Till you are becoming, it will keep on impacting, which is good. It shows that you are becoming somewhere. But the moment you are able to reach up to that level, जहाँ पे becoming खत्म हो जाता है and being शुरू हो जाता है, you are now being, and your presence starts listening, sharing, communicating, reflecting, whatever you call it starts happening, and it is not going to impact you. Impact आ रहा है, इसका मतलब इस process of becoming is going on. It's okay. That is also good, I say. We have to practice. We have to practice. पर जहाँ पे impact खत्म हो जाएगा, when you start feeling that कि now the impact is no more impacting you, then you are being. That is the state you are. And there we need to reach it. And that's why I always say the fifth level of listening is mindfulness. आप वहाँ practice करो. That has to be there. Okay, I think, Vikash, or you want some more to talk?
Yes, sir. You have answered perfectly, and we have to go inside. That is the only solution, because
Yeah,
otherwise will keep feeling alone, even if people are around us. So you have
yeah.
answered it very beautifully, sir. And we have two more questions, and I think one of the question which the audience has asked is already answered, but I'll still repeat. How important is language and non-verbal communication in listening or having conversation dialogue? So I think our panelists have already told about
2
non-verbal.
minutes, I can
Oh,
talk about that. You
okay, sir.
required
Yes.
you required language to communicate till the person is not at the same wavelength. आप थोड़ा ध्यान से सुनना इसको, मतलब I'm not saying philosophy something like, it's very practical. So till the person you are communicating with is not in the same wavelength, then you require to use the verbal communication. But when your wavelength starts matching now, then non-verbal communication starts. So verbal communication is important. It is required till the level of the consciousness is in equilibrium. Once your level of experience is in equilibrium, level of consciousness in equilibrium, then you will find it out that you don't require communication. Just by seeing each other, you will be able to communicate to people. It is important, but that is not the ultimate. Verbal communications are important till we are able to reach up to the equal consciousness. But there is उसके आगे भी रास्ता है. The best one is the before after that. जहाँ पे आपको communicate करने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती. You don't require to use your verbal communication. Just your silence starts communicating. ठीक है?
Yes, sir.
Just to add to Dr. D's point, to whoever asked that question, it's very beautiful when he says that you require language till the point where the wavelengths don't match. In a real world scenario, let's take a team of footballers. You take one of the top teams that is there in football. When they are on the field, they don't talk to each other. The guy knows where he has to be when the person is passing the ball, and that's how they work. They just look at each other and they know who the ball is coming to, and that's how they keep scoring goals, right? Even in a cricket match, beyond a point, the batsman and the runner don't keep, they call each other, but they don't have to do that constantly. They don't have to discuss, they don't have to strategize, they don't need to use language. It is more non-verbal, and that's the level at which you can bring when the wavelengths match. And that is exactly a point which is about energies. You tend to kind of observe energies around you, good, bad, negative, positive, all of it. You know which energy, where you kind of are very easy to talk to, when you can have a conversation and you can have a dialogue. It's because the energies match, the wavelengths match. And that's practically in every day. You can see it in your life. That's reality, actually. So just adding on to what Dr. D said.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
Arun.
Arun. Thank you for pitching in. And we are running out of time, so we have one last question, I think, which is unanswered. I'll take up that. And when a person clings on to old experiences and believes that he is only that much for whole life, when a person carries for a lifetime that he is bad or he is disabled for a particular aspect of himself in life, for example, he believes in his imagination, He believes in his imagination and not his reality. So how to handle such a person? So that is the question. That person who is living in his imagination and not in reality.
See, we need to understand why he believes in his imagination. So as a coach, if the people just keep on asking hypothetical question, like he always live on imagination, then we need to get into the practicality why he is not really interested. Sometimes it is there a lot of people who are just into their hypothesis, they are not into their reality. So we need to understand are they really interested in resolving their challenges. So that we need to understand it very well. Because in my practical experience in so many years of coaching, I have seen so many people, they are not interested in getting transformed, but they are interested in just passing the time for themselves, for you also. So we have to have surety by having couple of listening session, whether the people is able to really come from, it might be because of the fear or because of the judgment, he is into hypothesis somewhere. But in one or two session, he has to be coming to the reality because there is no answer for the hypothesis. If I can say that why, okay, Iraq war is going on, if Donald Trump puts the atom bomb in India, then what will happen? This is a hypothetical question. There's no answer for this is there. So people has to come on the reality. So hypothesis should not be sustained for a longer period of time as a coach. So what I believe that, and again, I'm saying it from my experience, you have to ensure in your communication, if people you are listening, the coachee comes from hypothesis to reality. And if the person is not ready to come from hypothesis to reality, the two-way things can be there. Either you are not able to empower the person to bring them at that level, or the person is not ready to do that. In either case, things should not be move further. So might be one session, two session, third session, little bit of reality will start coming it, and the reality will start picking it up. So reality will increase and hypothesis will reduce. If the person is serious to get into transformation. क्योंकि देखो क्या है कि कोचिंग में शिष्य बनना जरूरी है. हमारे यहाँ बोलते हैं, in our Indian wisdom it says कि finding guru is easy. Moment you are ready to become a shishya. You cannot transform the person who is not interested in getting transformed. You cannot by force transform anybody. But the day you are ready to get transformed, you will be able to find it out the people. People will be able to do this. So, patrata, the readiness of the coachee is more important than the coach itself. So, that is very important. So, readiness, yes, I'd say sometime because of the unconditioning, bad conditioning, not understanding having properly, a lot of people, they stay in hypothesis. It's okay. We can start from there, but slowly it has to come to the reality because challenges can be resolved of the reality. Hypothetics का solution नहीं होता. ठीक है?
Well said, doctor. In
Yeah.
fact, I was reminded of Bhagavad Gita. Why did Krishna have to give that Upadesha to Arjuna? It was only because Arjuna asked for it. He
Yeah.
said, I want to get out of this problem. You tell me the solution. So
Yeah.
till the person really needs the solution, you
Yeah.
cannot force a solution of anybody on anybody if the person is not willing to understand or willing to listen to the solution, right? So it's
Yeah.
a very important point, right? So unless there is a Sishya who actually wants to be a Sishya,
Yeah.
otherwise the person is not ready to be, as you rightly mentioned. Yeah,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
ready.
Yeah. Yeah.
The idea also, as Dr. is saying, is not about the readiness. It has to the hunger should come from within. As to there is something that I need to change. There is
Willingness,
something which
willingness
is
to change.
there's willingness. There is foundationally something wrong which I want to change. That acceptance, no coach can enforce in a coachee. That has to
Yeah.
come. And I think our job is to only dust the other thing out and bring that sort of thing to surface, and
Yeah.
rest of the things will happen. It
Yeah.
has
Yeah.
to be
That,
to them.
yeah. Yeah. I always use two words. Jigyasa has to be transformed into mumuksha.
Mumuksha, correct.
Yeah. तो मुमुक्षा होनी चाहिए.
Moksha, Icha. You should have that Icha and Moksha.
Yeah. So that mumuksha will able to make you a better sisya.
Correct.
Yeah, that is there.
Very nice.
So, sir,
Any
then
more?
we are moving to the close of the session, sir. I'll put in my concluding words and then people are free to leave and then we can start the open session. People can unmute themselves and join, if that is all right, sir.
Yeah, yeah.
So, we are often terrified of silence because we view it as a dead space. But Mozart once said, the music is not in the notes, but in the silence between. The silence you hold for someone isn't an awkward gap. It is the space that gives the truth it shapes. So we have talked a lot about silence and going inside. And the most precious gift we can offer anyone is our attention. Tomorrow morning, we are all going back to our noise. But before you do, I want to leave you with a promise you can make to your clients, your colleagues, and your partners. And let this be your quiet vow. I will not fix, I will not preach, I will not place you out of reach. I'll simply sit, I'll simply be until you feel safe here with me. The silence isn't empty space, it's just a resting, holy place. I am here, I am staying, I am true. I am listening my way back to you. Go be the lantern. Thank you, Amit, Rehan, Chamba Sivan, Arun, and Dr. D. And thank you all for awakening with us today. Namaskar. And thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you a lot. If anybody have any more question, we can take it. It's not an open session, no problem. Officially, we are able to close today's session. Thank you very much. We'll see you again on third week of Sunday, same time at 3:30 for another wonderful CLP session. And we will be able to communicate what is the topic and who is the speaker. All of you are encouraged to be part of a speaker. It is all our coaches who are presenting and sharing. This is an opportunity for all of us to share our wisdom to the other people, do some research, do some innovation. So anybody and everybody can be a speaker and presenter and panelist. So all of you, you are encouraged to put the message in the main group of our WhatsApp, and you can also be a presenter and a panelist, and you can talk and you can share your wisdom to the people. You can share your experience with the people. And that is all the purpose of this CLP is there. Thank you very much from again. एंड आप लोगों के लिए प्लेटफॉर्म है, आप लोग इस पे पार्टिसिपेट कीजिए एंड डू इट. एनी मोर क्वेश्चन इज देयर तो कैजुअली वी कैन टेक इट. इट्स नॉट like, you know.
Yes, sir. I have unmuted all of them. So everyone can unmute themselves and ask their question or share their thoughts. How did they feel through this lesson? What takeaways they are having? And they can share their thoughts also. So I have unmuted everyone. So you can please unmute yourself and one by one you can come forward.
I don't have a question, but I want to say big thanks because I haven't had the opportunity to be in this kind of session in the past. This is my first one, and I start to appreciate what I am missing so many days. So thank you so much. It was wonderful to listen to you, all of you, as always, Dr. D and Amit, and also Samba sir, and also Arunji. It was wonderful listening to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jagan, and nice seeing you after a long time. Hope you are doing great.
Yeah, I'm doing fantastic. Thanks to you.
Very good, very good, very good, very good. Keep participating. It's our platform and we will be able to encourage each other. Thank you, Jagan. Thank you.
Anyone else, please come forward. Want to share or want to add anything? You are most welcome.
It was a wonderful session. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Amit, for a wonderful presentation. I think the key point that, that silence वाला जो चीज ऐड हुआ है, हम लोग शायद practice करते हैं, but while listening to it, I realized as a coach how important it is to imbibe it on our own. First apply it on us, then on our clients. बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट है और आई थिंक जितना सिंपली हम इसको कह देते हैं साइलेंस को, उतना ही डिफिकल्ट है इसको प्रैक्टिस करना, उसको इम्बाइब करना. आई थिंक इट टेक्स ऑलमोस्ट मंथ्स एंड इयर्स ऑफ जर्नी टू प्रैक्टिस इट होल हार्टेडली, टू लाइक डॉक्टर डी सेड, टू बी इन द मोमेंट. वो बीइंग बनना वो एक बहुत लंबा जर्नी है, सुनने में बहुत आसान लगता है. तो थैंकफुली डॉक्टर डी, वी आर ऑन दिस जर्नी विद यू and hopefully we will reach there someday for sure.
Sure,
Thank you
sure,
so much,
sure.
everyone.
Thank you, Isa. Thank you. Yes, Anand, you want to say something? Anand, you are on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
हाँ
yes,
हाँ
you are audible.
Yeah, a lot of gratitude to everybody. Amit, wonderful story session. I mean, it was very engrossing. Samba sir and Arun gave their take, and Dr. D, you put the icing on the cake. All I could get, if I put it in a nutshell, I got to understand the art of listening, how important it is. It's an art and it gradually picks up as you start practicing it. And pausing and giving silence actually makes the person build up the trust because that person actually appreciates. Verbal, non-verbal, both way of listening are so very important, critical, and this session was very engrossing. For not only us as a coach, but also as a human being. Because all said
right.
and done, even if we're coaching humans only. We interact with humans. And
True.
Arun rightly said that first we have to interact with your siblings, parents, because they are the source. If you're able to interact with them without any hesitation and have that listening, the rest of the coaching becomes very, very natural. So thank you very much. Very engrossing and enlightening session. Thanks everybody for giving us an opportunity.
Thanks.
Thank you, Anand. Yes, Murtuja.
Thank you, sir. This was a wonderful session. Thank you, Amit, for a wonderful presentation and all the panelists. No doubt, listening is something very close to me, and it has transformed me. As you said, listening is the first step to get transformed. And I have a feeling that in my journey with UCF in transformation, listening has been a foundation of what has happened to me right now. Now, one thing that I like to add here is, you already said, Dr. D, that awareness is very close to listening. Unless we are aware, we are in the presence here and now, we will not be able to practice listening. And Amit just gave an example of practicing meditation to be able to listen better. So awareness of ourselves as well as awareness of to whom we are listening. This is something, and we all understand it is not easy. It takes a lot of practice, and once we are able to master this, I think we can become a wonderful coaches. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Murtuja, and thank you all. We will able to connect it again. And thank you for joining. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.